Welcome back to the greenhouse. I'm Beth Myers-Shanai with the Oregon Department of Agriculture's Noxious Weed Control Program, here to introduce you to two more plants from our educational noxious weed specimen garden. I have a couple of knapweeds here today. These are both especially can be found in Western Oregon, although one of them is definitely a much larger issue in Eastern Oregon. I have here meadow knapweed and spotted knapweed. My meadow knapweed plant is actually has actually flowered recently. I have a little bit of what's left of some petals that are kind of browning out now, but were nice and bright purple before. Both of these plants are listed as B on Oregon State's noxious weed list, although the meadow knapweed is less targeted overall than the spotted knapweed. We actually call this a targeted plant and include a little T in brackets next to it on our list because of especially the damage it's doing on the east side of the Cascades. So at first glance, these are very different looking plants. Both knapweeds, both have this involucre covered in bracts, but these bracts and the size of this little bulb underneath where the flower petals come out is how you can tell generally which kind of knapweed that you're looking at. So the bracts on this involucre are very feathery. They kind of look like little eyelashes, whereas if we had a bract to look at on our spotted knapweed plant, it would have actual spots, which is how this one got its name. A rosette of meadow knapweed has these pretty much entire leaves. There's a little fuzziness to them. They look kind of generic. There are a lot of other leaves that look very similar to this one, so it generally you can get a better ID after this one starts to bolt and produce some of these flower heads. For spotted knapweed, unfortunately I had a beautiful beautiful tall flowering specimen on this one last year that I cut back after the flowers all died back. So I'm hoping to get another good bolting and flowering out of it this year. They are both perennial plants, so they will come back year after year from the same roots. But you can see the difference in the leaves in this spotted knapweed. Very deeply incised, almost skeleton-y looking leaves on the spotted knapweed. So when you're looking for the rosettes on the ground, they really stand out pretty starkly. There's also a kind of grayish color to the greenness here, or bluish gray, that also stands out. There is another knapweed that I don't have a specimen for yet called diffuse knapweed, and its rosette is very similar also. So that one is also a little easier to ID once it's flowered and you can see the bracts on that one. And they are just kind of a little spikier. They don't have the spot to them and they're curved a little bit. They're what's called recurved. They curve out just a little bit from the flower head on diffuse knapweed. These are also allelopathic, so they exude some chemicals that help chase away other plants or discourage other plants from growing. And in the case of spotted knapweed especially, just very explosive on dry slopes and drier areas of the state. We chase a lot of this around in Hood River County and in Jefferson County, Deschutes County. And meadow knapweed is pretty much an issue just on the west side of the Cascades and really concentrated in a few counties there, although it can be found scattered throughout Western Oregon as well. So keep on the lookout for these. If you find a new infestation where that's not being managed, it's always a good idea to let a local person, maybe a soil and water conservation district or your local noxious weed staff in that area know. We do have some biological control agents that work on these, and if you ever come across especially meadow knapweed in the fall when you're looking at where the seed heads were, often you'll see a big hole right in the center, and that means there was a biocontrol agent that inhabited that seed head, and its larva probably ate most of the seed out before the adult emerged. And I can't remember if those are beetles or weevils. I think they're probably weevils, but my colleague Joel Price is our biocontrol specialist, and someday I'll get a great video just featuring him explaining some of the basics of biocontrol too. So that's all from the greenhouse today. Keep an eye out, meadow knapweed, spotted knapweed, purplish, larger flower, more pinkish, smaller flower with spotted bracts, eyelash bracts on this bigger flower head. Take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.